Yeah, I mean, you're hoping that you can really build on that, and put up a lot of runs today. Girardi got a big hit later on, and we were able to get that fourth run in, which became very important. But, it's good. It's good to see, and we need to build off it. And we got a great performance out of Tanaka and the two guys at the back end.
For Alex, he said still a work in progress, but based on the way he had struggled heading into that at-bat, how much do you think he needed that one?
I think it was important. It's frustrating when you're struggling, no matter how good of a player you've been, no matter what time of the year it is. You could be hitting 330 and you go for an 0 for 20, and it's frustrating. So I think it's important.
You've talked a lot about wanting your starters to go deeper in games. Tanaka gets through 7, but early on he had a very unlucky first inning. What are you thinking as that pitch count is elevating in the first inning?
I looked up and he saw a lot of hitters, and I was like, his pitch count is not as high as that I expected. But I'm thinking, at some point you got to get a little break here. They didn't really hit the ball hard, and you look up and they got the bases loaded with one out. I guess it's just really good placement on their part. But that was frustrating, and he did a really good job of managing that inning and not letting it get out of control because of frustrations.
Barry.
Joe, what do you think it does for Alex psychologically when you move him down in the order? Do you think that took pressure off, or no?
I don't know. I've always, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Pressure comes from within. Every player wants to do well, and I think that's where the most pressure comes from. So I don't know what it did, but he hit a 2-run homer, so that was nice.
Kyle, to your right, all the way right.
Joe, when Gardner scored on the wild pitch, it didn't seem like the easiest pitch to read, the easiest ball to read, going through the catcher's legs. What are your thoughts on his ability to recognize that and get home?
I thought it was a good job. It's probably easier if it goes between his legs opposed to his right, because he can kind of see how far it is, and he can see the ball right away. But I thought he did a really good job getting on, going first to third. His speed created a run, and, that run was really important.
Well, Anthony, to your left, Joe.
Joe, when Alex hits the home run, do you say slump over, or do you look at the other at-bats in the game? Maybe he didn't have much success after that and say, like, it's just a work in progress, a step forward? Or
You know what? I went and saw a shrink and had him analyze what I should analyze, and I went from there. That's what I did.
Who else? George? Right next to you, Rob.
Joe, in less than a month, you're going to get your closer back. How difficult or how interesting will it be to tell these guys they're going to move back into the 8th and 7th?
Oh, I don't think it'll be a problem because it's not a surprise. And I've said all along that those guys are used to pitching in different situations. Andrew became a closer last year. For the most part, he was a 7th, 8th inning guy, and he was used to it. So I think they'll be okay with it. I think Andrew made a really strong statement when we acquired Chapman. He's here to win, and I don't think that will change.
Wally.
Joe, 2 questions. You're going to love them both. Do you anticipate that you'll stay with this lineup for a while now?
I'll let you know on Tuesday.
The other one is, did Ellsbury make a mistake diving for that ball?
You could look at, if he makes the catch, you say great play. If he doesn't, you're going to question, should he go for it? I thought he gave a really good effort and came up a little bit short. So that does not frustrate me.
Dave.
Just when you do get that length out of your starters, Joe, that you hadn't found, you guys can make the game look pretty easy. I mean, this is how you pretty much draw it out to this game.
I don't always draw it up 4-3, but yeah, you try to get 7 innings out of your starter and, or 6 innings out of your starter and go to your back into your bullpen and go from there. It worked really good. I mean, those guys were really good today.
Dave, right behind you. T.
Today, Masahiro pitched and max speed into 94.
Yeah.
And then so that
you
is
noticed?
Yeah, that is the Masahiro we've seen for 2 years, right?
Yeah, I think his arm is getting stronger. Obviously, the weather was pretty good today. But for the starters, you'd like to say that you could have them built up to where they're supposed to be by game 1. But I think you risk working them too hard in spring training and understanding that it's a long season. They sort of pace themselves. But I thought his stuff was really good today, and he gave up the 3 runs. I think 2 earned, and really, it's the best game he's pitched all season, and he really could have thrown a shutout.
To your left, Joe.
I know you'll expect your other starting pitchers to improve, but how much do you need Tanaka to be the guy that he was today?
Oh, I think it's important, but it's important that every guy does his job, and they're who they're capable of being. But he's a guy that can, shut down a lineup and hopefully get deep into games for us.
In the back, Tino, right there. Tina.
Thank you. Joe, you might have addressed this pregame, but why did you think today was the right day to move A-Rod in the lineup, and what was your communication with him and sort of the thought process?
I just let him know he'd been struggling, and Carlos had some success off of Iwakuma, so I just decided to make the change. And, as I said before the game, it's not necessarily permanent. Alex started 7th in our lineup and worked his way up. So, I just thought I would change it up a little bit today. I'm not sure what I'll do on Tuesday.
Who else? Barry.
Just speak about Gardner. I mean, we've kind of ignored him. He had a really pretty good 3-game series.
Yeah, he did. He's played well. Even when he wasn't hitting, he was getting on base via the walk. I think he's done a really good job offensively and defensively, and he's played the way he's capable of playing.
To your right, Jared.
Whether or not it's Tanaka, how important is it that someone emerge as sort of an ace to stop a losing streak like Tanaka did today?
Well, I think that's always important, that someone has the ability to stop a losing streak. You don't want to lose another game and then you have to think about it over your off day and it becomes 5. So I think that's always important.
You're right, Joe.
2 more steals today. I think you guys are leading the majors so far this season with 13. What's gone on into this kind of revitalization of running?
Well, they're picking their spots. They're getting on base. The right guys are getting on base. The situation is right. I was asked the other day about not running on Benoit, and he's a 1-1-5 to home. That's a tough situation to run on. But some of the situations have been right, and they've taken advantage of it.
Ryan.
Joe, is everyone healthy going into the off day?
Yeah.